Hey, good evening. It's John again. I'm here to play some Immaculate Grid. And game yesterday I got them both. I got but time version took a little bit long, I think. And then the the for the rarity score, it was closers. It was 300 save closers. And by now, I mean this is kind of an original category, but by now I should be all right at it. There was definitely a more optimal way to fill it out. I've forgotten that Jeff Montgomery started with the Reds and Todd Jones hit some teams I didn't realize he hit. So, yeah, all the way around. I don't know 300 saves nearly as well as I kind of figured I did. But let's get into it today. Still, it was like a 37. It's not like it was a terrible score. It was just there was way better options than the people I picked. Lee Smith at 5% down here for the Reds. I just got because I had a baseball card of Lee Smith with the Reds. But this was just the time version, so I was just coming with. You know where I struggled yesterday? I spelled Christian Guzman's name wrong. And so I just started over. I'm like, oh man, by now I probably could have come up with someone else. Anyway, let's hit refresh, let's hit play, and let's go for it. All right, let's see. That's someone. Okay. Davy Lopes hits these teams. Um, Brian Jordan. At some point I should come up with a Philly Dodger. Let's see. John Smoltz. Um, Tim Hudson has to have gotten there, right? And Schilling, 10 win season pitching. All right. I'm going real slow. Brady played for the Dodgers briefly, right? Just over a minute. I think I was minute 3 there. That was kind of a low rarity score. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat that. How'd Steve Carlton only get 3% for Philly's 10 win season? Now, first I read that as 10 war season. I'm like, that's a big number. I don't know that these teams all have that. Probably do, actually. Phil Necro, I think, had some 10 win seasons. Anyway, but Steve Carlton's one of the best pitchers of all time. He's predominantly with the Phillies. I'm surprised he's all the way down there at 3%. Um, yeah, might be able to sneak someone. Yeah, I wonder like if a Randy Wolf or a Kevin Millwood might be better. Who knows? All right. Well, I'm gonna stop sharing and start sharing again. So what was that, like a minute 2, minute 3, I think. Share yesterday's and hit refresh. All right. Davy Lopes was down like around 2%. So, oh, let's see. I know this is Ernie Lombardi will work. Uh, Manny Ramirez works here, right? He briefly played for the A's. Or did he play for, did he actually play games for the A's? I think he was signed by the A's. I'm not sure he played actual games with them. So I don't want to mess that up. Um, How do we feel about Javi Vasquez? He had to have gotten to 2,000 strikeouts. He played a season with the Braves. Struck out a lot of people in that season. And for that, um, Keith Law, I believe, gave him like a third place MVP vote, which meant that taking a vote away in Tony La Russa's eyes from Adam Wainwright. And La Russa ranted about it in his book about how awful it was that Adam Wainwright had been denied a vote, but it was absurd there was no way that like that was going to make the difference by itself, as I recall. This is the 2009 Cy Young race, National League Cy Young race. I wrote about it in my book briefly. Um, and then let's see so you can go with let's see. I think Old Hoss Radborn works, right? Old Hoss. There we go. Point 3. I was trying to think like if you go all of Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, they take a bunch. Newer guys like Max Fried and um, even like your Tim Hudsons, Joe Jens, Javi Vasquez, Kevin Millwood, Denny Nagel, Steve Avery. You can start to peel it back. Charlie Leibrandt was with the Braves. And then you get famous people like Phil Niekro, Warren Spahn, Johnny Sane, Lou Burdett. There's so many options. So I don't know. Maybe Lou Burdett would have been better. Let's see. For the A's, let's see. What if we went here? Go with Rube Waddell. He takes 1%. How does, let's see, what are some, how do we feel about Kenny Rogers and his surprisingly good 1998 season with Oakland? Yeah, that was a good pull. A better pull than Rube Waddell. Just thought of a better known with the Tigers, but Schoolboy Rowe hits both the Phillies and Dodgers. Remember him because he's my guy for like going the other way, Detroit to Philly or Detroit to LA. So he obviously works here. I have no idea if he got to 2,000 strikeouts though. Steve Carlton certainly got to 2,000 strikeouts. Pedro Martinez got to 3,000 strikeouts. He was a Philly. Um, yeah, trying to think of guys that maybe like just ducked into Philly for a little bit. Where's some famous Dodger A's hitting both teams? Hitting both teams. Bob Welch comes to mind. Um, let's see, man. I got Bob Welch seems like he's going to be kind of high. I mean, he won 27 games in a Cy Young Award for the 1990 A's, and he was. I think I wrote in my book that he was a. Well, I briefly alluded to it. It wasn't really the point of the chapter, but I did write that he was a prime candidate for the 1987 Cy Young Award, which was won by Steve Bedrosian. Um, so I gotta believe there's someone better there. Piazza Works. Um, no, on any of those guys. Eddie Murray doesn't work. Karros never played for the A's. McGuire never played for the Dodgers. Giambi never played for the Dodgers. Hadberg never made his way to the Dodgers. Zeal is never an A. Chavez never a Dodger. Um, Man, this one feels like it should have a whole lot more because both teams are so old. But I am struggling to come up with someone better than Bob Welch. In fact, I think Davey Lopes was probably better than Bob Welch, and I just sort of came up with that because he was manager of the Brewers, so I sort of knew his career a little bit. I'm not sure if Phil Garner ever spent time in LA. He was definitely with the A's and Pirates. Another Brewer manager. Um, like Orlando Hudson, Ronnie Bellier. These guys never played for Oakland. Um, see, Andre Ethier was in Oakland's farm system, what was traded to the Dodgers. He was actually their minor league player of the year, as I recall. Um, man, yeah, I am. Henderson will work. Henderson will probably be like 10% though. No one Tim Raines, no one Kenny Lofton. They both played with the other teams ever so briefly. Um, all right, and over here for 2,000 strikeouts and 10 wins. Let's see. Pete Alexander certainly works. Grover Alexander, Robin Roberts certainly works. Um, John Denny, 1983 Cy Young winner will work. Millwood works, as I mentioned. Let's try Kevin Millwood. Goes .5, not bad. Philadelphia, 2000 strikeouts. Anyone who just sort of stops in for a little bit that I could take advantage of in this game. Pedro is the name that's kind of coming to mind, but I think people know that. I mean, he was in the '09 World Series. The Yankees fans resurrected Who's Your Daddy for that one. I don't think that's going to be super good. We've already used Schilling. Steve Carlton definitely works. So that's three people right there who all work for 3,000 strikeouts. I'm trying to think of people in the 2,000 strikeout range. Um, but Robin Roberts, I'm quite sure will work. I gotta believe Grover Alexander is going to work just from the sheer longevity of how long he played. They didn't strike out a lot of people back then, but I mean he played 20 some odd years. I think he got to 100 strikeouts per year at least. Um, and man, I mean if you're thinking of like 70s, I'm just remembering Steve Carlton. Well, I wasn't there. I'm not really remembering it. I'm recalling having read about it. Um, Halliday will work. There's another one. Um, Aaron Nola's certainly not there yet, nor Zach Wheeler. Um, so I'm just gonna talk myself into Robin Roberts. Nah, let's go Grover Alexander. 2%. Okay, not terrible. And I don't want to keep everyone here. Let's see how Bob Welch does. Ooh, 6%. That wasn't good. That was more than half the score. 174 picks. Ricky Henderson was number one. I thought he'd be like 7 to 10%. He was number one. Um, Halliday is number one here. Nola, recency bias playing a role there. I hit Zito on the timed version. I did Maddox over here, Smoltz here. Same basic idea though. Brian Jordan was kind of an oddball pick. 174. Let's come up with someone better. Someone better that I should have got. Sutton would have been better, I think. I did not know Tommy John played for the A's. I don't know who Jack Quinn is. Did not know Dick Allen played for the A's. I knew he played for the Dodgers. Milton Bradley, I could have gotten. Octavio Dotel probably takes his standard 2%. Nomar, I knew. Ooh, Phil Garner would have worked. Yeah, a lot of people I don't really recall too well. It's an interesting. This is yeah, Mike Piazza was in it. Mike Piazza might have been better actually. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I just went through this and I'm actually amazed at how like I'm not kicking myself too hard. There's a couple I could have gotten, but man, not a ton. Dusty Baker, I think I knew. I think I've got a card of him with the A's. All right. I'm not displeased. Bob Welch was kind of a weak pick, but he's probably top five, I think. So I could have done better, but not terrible. So 11, pretty good score. Just over a minute on the time version. Didn't quite get my goal there. That's all right. Fun game. Dodgers A's being tough was not something I anticipated. Um, Older teams, you'd think yeah, I could do those. The other experience I had on that was Tigers and Cubs a while back, and I was really I wasn't going to go with Javi Baez. Refused to do it. Um, Probably should have been able to come up with Randall Simon, as I recall, but I looked up the player Germany Schaefer, and now I use him wherever he works because I know he's going to be a low rarity score because there's nothing particular. He hits a lot of teams, and there was nothing particularly unique about his career. No reason to really remember him. So, anyway, thanks a lot for playing. Once again, post your scores. Love seeing it, and you all have a great rest of your night. Peace.